Okay guys, so let's take care of the sign up form. But before we do that, uh, bear with me for just a sec while I change the color of this text right here. I totally forgot about that. So uh, let me just grab the new color and go to the inactive tab. So tabs, inactive tab, span. Color is going to be this. Okay, and since we're here, let's create some space between the span and the heading below it. So margin left, we're just going to say margin 0, 0, about 5 pixels or 4, just to push it down a little. Okay, there we go. So now on to the sign up form, and for that I'm just going to do something like this to show it, since we don't have functional tabs yet. So obviously this doesn't have the proper styling. Let's add div sign up content. Okay, and for the fonts, for the forms, sorry, we obviously must have different styles, because on the sign in tab it's center aligned, on the sign up tab it's left aligned. So we're gonna say div sign in content, and then sign up content, and we're gonna make the form a bit bigger, to about 500, and I removed the margin to stop it from center aligning. Okay, that's good. So what should we start with? Let's start with these, the M's. And let's create actually a new section. Oops. What did I just copy? Oh, okay. So this is sign up. Okay. So we're gonna say M's or div sign up content M should be display, should have a display of block to go under the inputs, a margin left of 145 to align it with these, and also a margin top of about 10 pixels. So it moves down, and I think font size is about 12 or 11 pixels. 11 pixels, and also it has a different color. Okay, good. Okay, M's done. Let's move on to this. You see, we have a bit of an issue with the labels, because we set a big line height to align them with the form. When we have longer text, it just goes way off. So I'm just going to make the labels a bit bigger to accommodate longer names. So we're going to say sign up content, clean form, paragraph, label. And let's make it like 50 pixels bigger. And the original width, as far as I know, is CP label, where are you? With 130. So let's make it 180 pixels. And there we go. Now it aligns properly. But we also have to compensate for that on the M's. So instead of 145, let's do 195. Good. And let's see what else. Let's update the code to include this class, the push left class. Right here. So div with a class of push left. Okay, let's check it out. And we must do this. Sign up content div push left and change its margin left to 195 pixels so that everything now matches that value. Okay, well, we done this. Let's not forget about these little arrows, stars. So that is a span with a class of required field, I think. Let's have a quick look. Yes, required field. Okay, so color should be something very red, like F5360A. Okay, cool. Now, time for this one, benefits of registration. And this one, I called it additional form content. So div with a class of additional form content. That's going to be floated to the right. We also need to float the form to the left. And let's not forget to add a class of clearfix to the parent container, because we have the form floated to the left, this one's to the right, and nothing clears the form, so we don't have a height. So now, there we go. All right, so first of all, round corners. So border 1 pixel solid. Let's check out the color real quick. Oops. So that is the color, and then we're gonna have WebKit, border radius 5 pixels, Moz, border radius 5 pixels, and border radius of 5 pixels. Good. Padding should be around 20 pixels, I think. Yep. So padding 20 pixels. And also a width. Let's see, width is 280 here, so I'm gonna do width 250. Okay, looking good. So what about this inner glow? Well, we can use the box shadow property to simulate this, just as we did on the inputs on the form. So we're gonna do Moz box shadow, and it's gonna be inset to be inside, 0, 0. We're gonna do 35 for blur and 5 for spread, and the color should be something like this: F9, F9, F9. So this is Mozilla, this is WebKit, and this is the default one. Maybe a slightly different color. What do you think about something towards blue? Maybe this F1, F6, FA. Oh, that's too blue. Maybe something like this. Okay, that's pretty much what I wanted. Um, let's see what else. We have a paragraph. Why did I put a paragraph here? I don't know. Should be a heading, not a paragraph. So H3 and then a list. Now div additional form content. It's actually an ID. So H3, it's going to be font weight, bold, font size, I think it's 14, I want to say. No, it's 12 pixels. So font weight, font size, margin bottom, about 20. Okay, maybe 15. All right. And next, let's target that those list items. First of all, color. Should be this. We need to push them to the right. So padding left, 20 pixels. All right. And background, URL img list bullet.png. Now let's make this left top or left center, no repeat. Okay, pretty good, but let's see, padding left, we need some margins. So margin, it's going to be 0 top, 0 right, bottom should be about 5, and left should be about 20 pixels. Let's check that out. Okay, that's pretty good, but padding left 15. And also the icons are not really aligning with the text too well. So instead of center, let's do top. Okay, and let's do 3 pixels. Let's do 4 pixels. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's check this again. See if maybe we need more padding or something. So height, that's about 10 pixels, and height here should be about 10 pixels. It's pretty close. Okay, I quite like the way it looks, so I'll just stick with that. All right then. Well, that's it for the sign up form. We didn't have much work to do on it because most of the style for the form was just inherited from the sign-in form. So we finished the tabs, both forms. Now it's time to take care of the tabs, and we're going to be using some very simple jQuery functions to do that. So let's let's do just that. Okay, guys. So for the JS functions, let's go ahead and create a new file. Call it functions.js, and let's just begin with document ready. All right. So we're going to reference that in our index.html, but we're going to do so at the end of our page, and that's because apparently it's best for SEO, for search engine optimization, and you can find a bunch of articles on that. I'm not gonna go into it. So let's say include JS files. Uh, we're gonna include jQuery since we're gonna need it, and then script. We don't need the type anymore because we are in HTML5, but we do need the source, and that is JS functions.js. Okay, so let's take a look at the PSD and get an idea of how this is going to work. And we have basically 2 tabs. We're not going to make the script in such a way that it's going to support more than that. But the basic functionality is we click on this tab. This one moves, becomes the active tab, and this one becomes inactive. So it's actually very easy to do that. And we're going to start by saying ul tabs. So ul tabs list item. When we click one of the list item, we have a function. So what do we need? When we click one of the tabs, we got to verify if what we clicked is the inactive tab. So in other words, if it has the inactive tab class, then we move on. So we do if, and let's reference this, which is just the thing that we clicked. If this attribute class equals inactive tab, then we begin. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to swap classes on the clicked items. So the active becomes inactive and vice versa. So we're going to say this add class active tab and remove class inactive tab. Next, we gotta change the classes on the other list items, because the one we clicked, we gave it the active tab class and removed the inactive tab. So we gotta do the same thing for the other list items, and we can do this by targeting its siblings. So this dot siblings, which have the class of active tab, with those we're gonna remove class active tab and add class inactive tab. And since we only have 2 items, we're not going to have more than one item with the same class, with the inactive tab class. So this will work just fine for what we need. And let's see what else. Let's look at this. Let's see what it does, and we'll come back to it. So if we click, nothing happens. Let's see, we added this, UL tabs, list item, click, function. Oh, sorry, did a little typo there. Okay, and it's still not working. So why isn't it working? Let's see. Tab, class clear fix, ID inactive tab. Oops. Yep, sorry about this. If attribute ID is inactive tab, actually, let's change its classes to active tab. I'm not sure if there is a function called add ID. I don't think there is. But anyway, let's change this real quick. Let's see, we have that, and that's it. Okay, we are in business. So watch what happens. I click on this and they just change classes, and this one gets to the right and this one comes to the left. Now obviously this is not actually what we want, because on the original, on the PSD, we want the sign-in to remain in place and have this move to the left. So all we gotta do is change the float of the previous element to the left. So we can do this with this prev to get the previous element, CSS, and we're going to change float, and the new value is left. Let's check it out. Yep, look at that, it's working perfectly. Now the next thing is to swap the actual tab contents, and to do that First we must go into the CSS and change the CSS for sign-up content to display none, because, well, it's not displaying the first time it's shown. So now we have the sign in and the sign in tab. And when I want to show different tabs, I always do something like this. Add a class to the div of, let's say, toggle tab, to both divs, the same class. So toggle tab. Okay, so now we go to functions and we do this. We reference the class of toggle tab, and we're going to say div toggle tab, and we're going to say toggle. And watch what happens. So it's a very simple explanation behind this. Toggle simply hides and shows an element, but if we set the same class to both elements while one of them is hidden, toggle will show the hidden one and hide the one that's showing. So it's just going to swap them together basically. And there's a little twist that we can do to this, and that is called slide toggle. And it's just going to do an animation. Let's call it fast, and that's the speed of the animation. If we do slow, it's probably not going to look that good. It's really up to you. I prefer fast. There we go, and that's it. Very, very simple. With just a few lines of code, we made those tabs operational. All right. Now, notice what happens if I change the tab. We don't get focus on this element, and, well, we kind of want to, don't we? Because having focus on the element is cool. I mean, it allows us to input much faster. So the way we can target that is by doing something like this. Div toggle tab, and we're going to say input, and we're going to say first focus. So basically we're telling that after we toggle the tab content, we're gonna search for the first input from the toggle tab and set focus on it. And let's see if that works. And that still doesn't work, because we actually, when we say to set focus, the animation is probably not done yet. So a way around this is set another function here and move this inside the function. So this one only executes after the animation is complete here. So now, if we go back, it only works on this element. And that's because initially these elements are not visible yet. So let's go ahead and search for the first visible element. So toggle tab, input visible, first, and focus. And look at that. If I change focus and come back, it targets the first element always. So that is exactly what we need. And that was it actually, guys, for the sign up form and the JavaScript work. Very simple, as you can see, a couple of lines of code. The last video will be about some inline CSS validation, and we're going to be doing some finishing touches. So I'll see you then.